Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor. Today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. So we begin the reading with the energy of the Two of Discs. Every reading, as I'm getting ready, I'm steeping the tea and drinking it and just starting to commune directly with the great unknown. And then I pull a card and I say, baby, what are we going to be feeling today? Right? What is this energy going to feel like today? So I was happy to see we have the Two of Discs, very earthy, but also quite celestial. Right? We have that beautiful mix of the micro, the macro. We have the balancing of elements. We have the infinite with that figure 8, but also Ouroboros or Ouroboros, however you like to say it. Ouroboros is kind of what I don't know. We have the snake eating its own tail, right? Something contained within itself, basically. So this energy, this change, this flowing from above to below, below to above, everything in its right place, everything always moving, transforming, evolving, recombining, there is no such thing as a completely fixed thing. I mean, I guess maybe there could be theoretically somewhere. I don't know. But symbolically, and as far as we know, everything is moving always and always changing. And something can be as it is and perceived by multiple beings, people, conscious things, and that truth can be quite different from each perception. So that's what's beautiful about this card, is that nothing is, and yet everything is, right? I always think of it as everything is everything. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to turn this guy. Oh, the cat got to my sweater. I just noticed. In the morning when I sit down, my beautiful, almost 18-year-old cat, he is a big guy, and he expects that your lap is his throne immediately. All right, so I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for clicking on the reading. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Also, I'm really interested in, what... I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Well, I mean, like, just to be very, to the point, I just am really interested this week. I don't know. I've had a busy weekend. As I'm recording this, it is October 13th, 2025. This will be coming out on October 14th, 2025. So I've just had the weekend, and it's been busy. But I'm left with this real curiosity about people's driving forces. Now, I talked about this a little bit in some of the readings in the last last week. And if you would like to share, I would just really, I want to hear about what is it in your life that keeps you going? What is it in your life that gets you out of bed in the morning and, doing what you need to do? If it is a beloved thing, if it is a fear, if it is a ultimate goal, I'm so interested. So if you want to put that in the comments, or even if you want to email me at ulaishere@gmail.com. I know not everybody likes to share their business in the public part of the internet. So you can always email me. I'm just really very nosy, but also very moved by people's personal experiences. So that's why I ask. All right, let's go. So we have, it looks like, now I wish I was like, is this Chet? Like CHET this way? But really, it looks like vet to me. VE, here, like that. T, like that. Okay. So I'm going to go with vet. Okay, vet. Now, this could be, a veteran of the military or armed forces, or it could be like, the animal doctor, something like that. So I want to see if we come back around to that and if it will tell us exactly what it is. But as we move this way, we have a person who is running. You can see here's the person. The head is here. Here's the upper body. This is the lower body. Now, right here, we also have another person who is standing kind of like they're leaning back. Kind of like in this falling backwards kind of position. Now, we also have a dog. Over here, we have fish. And it looks like maybe like a doll or a small child. Down here we have, it looks like kids, maybe 2 adults, these 2. We have 1, 2, 3 children, it looks like. Over here, this one looks like there's like fairies, like fairy godmother type of. And then right here we have an ear. It looks like an ear. Okay, so even over here looks like the fae. So I feel like there has been, and I want to set this down because I'm going to readjust myself and get a, there's my pen I was looking for. Get a drink of water here, or yes, water. So to me, it looks like we have had some conflict, like within the home, within the family, maybe within a friends group. But I'm thinking that this is more like at your home base. And now this might be loud because I have some ice in here. All right. So I think that there has been some conflict. Okay. I wonder if there is an animal involved. Like, did you get a new puppy? Is there one of the animals is getting older and needing to see the vet more? And I'm wondering if this is, worrying about money, worrying about how this is going to affect your budget and that kind of thing. Now, immediately I know that you are somebody who is very logical and practical about especially resources. You're like Cancer after all. But I do feel like, if this is it's like a family animal, it's maybe it's like your parent has an animal that they, feel like they really need because it's their companion, but maybe they're getting older, they can't take care of it. It's becoming kind of a hardship, and you get into a place that's like a really difficult decision to make. And I think that is where some of this conflict has been. Okay. But here's the thing. I do feel like, really, as you, I feel like you just, in this case, there is a real sense of compromise. And I know. You might be saying, I'm just so tired of compromising about this. Because, listen, an animal, even if it's a companion, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I am somebody who has always had animals, okay? I have 2 cats. So, I know. I love animals. I love having animals in the home. But I also know what it's like to be super busy or financially strapped. And, food for animals isn't cheap. The vet isn't cheap. Maybe you work away from home a lot and you thought that the kids are going to be able to take care of this dog or whatever. Now it's tearing up the house or, whatever it is. I won't pretend that, I will basically put up with anything to keep my animals, right? But I also understand, what it's like when it doesn't seem like it's going to be doable, So I do feel like there's some conflict around having animals in the home. Okay, if you have them already, or if, maybe somebody in the house really wants one, like my husband and daughter, they really want a dog. I do too, but we have old cats and they need to live out their life in peace. But even so, ultimately it will fall on me to really be the main caretaker of the animal, because I take care of the house. I run the house. I take care of, not all of the yard work, but I do most of the yard work, and I take care of the bulk of the house stuff. And also, a lot of other things, kids stuff, scheduling, I work, all kinds of things, just like you, just like everybody else. And then you throw another being on top of that, that's a big thing. So, I think that this is a place where maybe there needs to be some really very realistic conversations about what's going on, whatever side you are on. If you're the one that's something needs to change here, or if you are the one that's okay, this is my dog, and I will move out with the dog before I get rid of it, type of thing. Which is understandable. I get both sides of it. Absolutely. Now, I do feel like there is a compromise or a situation that is kind of, it's reorganizing itself into being something more doable. Okay. I feel like there is a piece that comes through the home, through the family situation, and then within self, I feel like in general, there's just a sense of being discombobulated here. I also feel that there have been moments where you are really seeing excuse me, where you are really seeing, no, pardon. Ugh, my goodness, it's just been one. It has been a hectic day so far. My goodness. But yeah, I feel like there's just a sense of really coming into this understanding that whatever has been going on where you haven't been feeling aligned, and I think that's what it is. I feel like you're out of step with the people around you, or at least you perceiving it to feel that way, right? And I keep looking at this wrench up here, and I feel like there's just this sense of okay, I got to do something to get this right. We got to get this reestablished. This whatever's happening is highlighting where some of the conflict is within the greater unit of family, of friends, of your very direct community. And I think that for you, a lot of it is around money. I mean, I feel like you're worried about money. You're worried about work. You're letting it get to you. Your stress is probably really like at 100% lately. I do feel there are times where, and there's two people holding hands here. You can see this one, and then there's the heart. Now, I can feel that at times you are feeling very connected. You're listening, you're talking, you're being open and vulnerable. But at the same time, there seems to be this quickness to retreating. Okay, and I think a lot of it is because your nervous system is stressed out, is just completely, getting to that burnout point because you are underneath everything else that's going on in your life, very worried about the logistics of, keeping the house together, paying the bills, making more money, consistently making money, all these things that we all do trip about. Of course we do. But Cancer, for whatever reason, and you Capricorns, Cancers, sometimes, Aquarius, not as much about money, but just, get into yourself deeply worried about this stuff. And I think at times you can become kind of fixated on it, So I feel like there has been this vacillation between feeling very connected, and maybe even quite happy in those moments, or at least like feeling an ease. But then, any little bump, I think, really sends you right back into that panicky mode. Now, also being a Cancer, I think you try to hide this. I do. I think that you try to like really, really minimize it around people that you love, that you care about, because you don't, whatever. I don't know what the exact reasoning is, but I do. I think that there's a sense of maybe masking or, just trying to like put your best image forward, that kind of thing. And, I think this kind of at times can really add to the stress of the ordeal, because not only are you going through panic, but you're also really trying to hold together an image of yourself that is very tiring and emotionally draining to upkeep. And for what? So I do feel like, you, as you are maybe being more forthcoming to the people around you, at least to the degree that you can say like, yeah, I'm stressed out today. You don't have to say about what, but I do. I feel like when you communicate like, hey, and I'm serious about this. I don't feel the best today. I am stressed out. I feel like releasing the valve a little bit to let some steam out, very helpful. Now, I'm a Virgo, so I'm going to tell you everything that is wrong with me today. I always laugh because my daughter, she always is showing everybody she comes in contact with her, like, boo-boos and stuff, or like, oh, I got a Band-Aid today, and she has to, like, show her coach, and she has to show her best friend, and she has to, So, I feel like that too sometimes. Really, I think it's the same kind of behavior where I like to tell you what it is, not like in a confrontational way, but like if you look at me and you say, Lenor, bro, you look beat, girl. No, I'm joking. Please don't say that to me. No, you say, you look tired. You look stressed. What's going on? Ugh. Do you have some time? It's mostly about scheduling stuff, but oh my goodness, it's a lot. So we also have the moose. We have a person on the back of a horse. We have, those look like tents or cabins. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, so it seems that we have some kind of trip coming up. Okay. We have, it looks like the person sitting on the horse meandering, not, galloping or anything like that. So moving along at a slow pace, taking time to take it all in. Okay. So I do think that in this next period of time here, you're going to have a little bit of a break. Now, it might not be like, the perfect kind of sitting by the pool with your, feet up kind of break. But I do feel like there is some amount of reprieve for you. Okay. So maybe you're going to like a wedding, or maybe, you're going away for the weekend for a conference for work or something. Now, this isn't super exciting, but maybe it is a little bit exciting because, I don't know, maybe you're going to be by yourself for a little while. I don't even know what that means anymore, being by yourself. I think I remember that thing. But, sometimes just, even though we're going to be working, even though we're going to be busy, even though we do have to speak to other people, we just need a little bit of a deviance from our regular routines. Okay, so I see that as being really the thing that you're looking forward to right now. And honestly, I feel like there is such an energy of kind of silliness rising, a sense of having a little bit of a good time, letting yourself kind of unbutton that top button on your collar, and, just being a little more loose with it, Now, with that moose, though, here's the deal. I feel that in your life, you have something where I almost kind of feel like there's a lot of anger around and I keep thinking, is this, like, if somebody you love, who you're close with, and if it's a spouse, maybe, I don't know, but I feel like there's almost kind of a sense of resentment. Or at least the seeds of, right? I feel like there's the letter, it looks like the letter P right here. Okay. It feels to me like there's a sense of wanting something, maybe doing it with somebody else, like you did a challenge with somebody, or like we're gonna, both go plant-based together, or we're gonna both go to the gym together, or, something where it's like you team up, you're gonna do it together. And I feel like maybe for you maybe didn't continue on with what was going, what the challenge or the thing was, the agreement, right? And maybe you kind of fell out of step with it for one reason or another, okay? The person keeps going, right? They keep doing the thing. And, just because they maybe enjoy it. Maybe they found this is actually something that I can see myself continuing to do. And I feel like part of what that moose energy is, now a moose can be very aggressive, very temperamental, usually pretty cool, just chilling, but they're intimidating. And that's kind of Cancer. You guys are a little bit intimidating because there is a sense of like, something, but you don't say it. It's like the eyes, right? Wise eyes. And I feel like there's a sense of maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to think like of how this could be, because I'm married to a Cancer, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. I don't think my husband like gets annoyed about competing, although he is super competitive, but he doesn't say when he's annoyed, but you can kind of tell. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's really like this is like one of those sharp points, right? Where we think, oh, why does that hurt? Why am I annoyed with that? What the heck am I, you know what I mean? Like, what is happening here? And I do. And I think that probably this is where, you are doing some of that shadow work. You are doing some of that self-refinement. We're working on our reactions. I am. I mean, I've shared a lot. I talk about myself a little too much in every reading, I'm sure. But for me, it is it's not competition. I'm not super competitive with myself, but not really so much with other people as much. But I can be jealous. I can be super jealous. I can feel super uncomfortable over tiny things, little nuanced things, and get stuck on them. And that's where I'm really working on my reactions, because I'm going to feel how I feel. I'm not at the point where I'm going to try to just, you're not allowed to think that, Lenore, stop it, no. I'm going to think it, but I'm also going to tell myself, lady, look at the evidence, girl. And also, not the evidence of what I think is happening, the evidence of, these feelings coming up, and why do they usually come up, and how do I usually react to them, and how does that work out for me? That's the big one too. And lady, how does that work out for you? Usually not in my favor, right? Not in my favor. It is a useless feeling to indulge. Jealousy, resentment, those kinds of things. Yeah, we all do it and have it and feel it here and there. But guess what? We can also say, I don't think I'm going to open that door today. Nah. And even if you are right, you know what I'm saying? Even if you're right, how long do we want to dwell in those places? That's my thing. I don't want to dwell there anymore. I'm just not interested in it. I just waste so much time. I have wasted so much time in my life lamenting things. Why? I feel like I could go to jail for how often I have ruminated. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even afraid when I go and they do my... they play the video of my life to me and ask me, what happened here, Lenore? When they're like, do you see how... Okay, first of all, let's look at your screen time, and then let's also look at the time you spent lamenting. Things that weren't even real, things that did not matter, things that... Whatever, right? They might put me in prison for that. You spent a fourth of your life worried about stuff that didn't even exist. All right, so we have the goddess with the snake. We have that primordial beauty bringing us the knowledge. And it's interesting, too, because, look, she's standing here with the snake above her head. And then down here we have, it looks like a person standing here with their hand out. And I'm like, all right, I see what you're doing. I see. We also have down there, it looks like the number 33. 33. So here's the deal. I feel like this is just so much a time of self-awakening, really looking at self, looking at maybe the histories of your life. Maybe you're looking at your personalities, if you're like me, or, whatever. But I do feel very much that there is a swift change in current. Okay. And we go from this point of maybe you are in a transition of how you're living or how you want to live or whatever. But I feel like suddenly there's all this time to think, and then suddenly there is a quick shift. And so the active energy, the fire energy, that snake energy really kind of shows up, and there is really something to grab your focus away from any of the other stuff that's going on. And to me, it looks like it's going to involve, some travel. Okay. Now we also have the number 12. I feel that a message is released. There's a person standing here and the bird is leaving their hand. A message released and received. Okay. Now we have the illuminating candle and we have the question mark at the end. We also have an illuminating candle. So suddenly there seems to be, we also have the lobster. There seems to be information kind of really pouring in. And I almost kind of feel like this is like, you find out like a family member has been having like mental health issues or kind of depressed or struggling at home trying to take care of, mom and dad are taking care of each other and they're starting to have a hard time with that kind of thing. So I feel like there is a sense of like this information kind of pouring into your life, and you are receiving it and you are managing it and figuring out like, what am I going to do here? But the part that has not happened is like that launch into action. Okay. So I feel like this is all very real stuff in the real world. It causes a little bit of anxiety because I feel like suddenly you're like going from worrying about changing, parts of your life to your life actually changing, not because you made a choice, but because, the factors of living just are what they are. And with time passing, things change. And so now you are kind of facing a reforming of life, right? Of like maybe your schedule, where you're living, that kind of thing. So, that could, you might look at that as something scary. You might think, finally something is changing. So not necessarily a bad thing, but I do feel that you have some kind of stress behind it. Now we have the number 85. 85. We have the number 24. And 71. I was going to say 17. No, it's 71. 71. All right. And we will finish with our Cincy Child affirmation card. And I'm just going to go ahead and flip and stop. And I am grateful for my surroundings. I am grateful for my surroundings. Okay, Cancer. What do I have? Nothing. I think that's it. I love you. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. Other than that, again, I'll say I love you. I love you. I love you. We'll talk soon, and good night.